I'm going to introduce Pandion Music Foundation. Pandion Music Foundation, we're a 501c3 nonprofit that equips emerging music creators around the world with tools to help foster more equitable, attainable, and sustainable careers. We're based in Los Angeles, and PMF amplifies diverse voices to grow a more inclusive music industry by providing free weekly online workshops and wellness initiatives that connect independent musicians with leading professionals. We are also spearheading working with teens. We did last summer a teen camp for music production, songwriting, and band, and we're going to keep that going and do cohorts, like maybe we're thinking 3 a year and six, I think, 3 months at a time. So that'll be really great. We're thinking starting with Los Angeles School District kids. So they'll fill out a kind of a form to see if they qualify, and maybe they can get a scholarship for that. So that's great. Yay. And in
Yeah.
that, there'll be a wellness aspect as well, because we want our young ones to be healthy and well. And also too, we're also moving into 2025, where we are going to be looking at you guys getting more involved. We might do one workshop community led. So please email us at hello@pandionmusicfoundation.org if you are interested in talking to me more about that. And we just want y'all to know, like, meet each other in a better way, and who's like producer, who's songwriter, that kind of thing. So I think it'd be very helpful. And Ryan Gaines, welcome. You've worked in the
Thank you.
music industry yeah, since 2001 at acclaimed companies such as Miramax and Dimension Films, 20th Century Fox, amazing, Island Def Jam Recordings, and Walt Disney Studios, where you have an in-house music supervisor for diverse slate of major motion picture releases and art house films. Independent since 2012, Ryan founded Mutiny Records in 2017 with a renewed focus on vintage catalogs and influential contemporary artists, which has resulted in numerous high-profile placements in both global and national marketing campaigns, acclaimed TV shows, and feature films, grossing over 10 million in licensing films for independent artists. That's pretty big, and there's a lot going on there. And can you tell us more about you, Ryan, and welcome?
Yes, yeah, thank you so much. It's great to be here. I love doing these things and working with people that are trying to figure out how to unlock and those keys to the kingdom, right? That's what we all want. Um, you know, it's very important to always bob and weave in life. And like when I first started off in 2001 in the industry, I wanted to be a film producer. I wanted to be in project development, film finance, all that stuff. And until I realized how much I hated reading scripts, like in doing script coverage, it was just a miserable thing for me. There's people out there that love it. I have friends that are just that thrive in it and are creative executives and they're fantastic at what they do. Not for me. And that's very important because it's you have to make a decision. Like it's important to know what you want to do, but it's also more important to know the things you don't want to do in life. So if you're like in how this relates to music, if you're like going down one avenue and like, you know what, I'm actually not the best songwriter. I actually got to pull someone in to help me with my top line, all that stuff. Then admitting that to yourself is very, very important. Um, it speeds up things for you. You know, why waste time? We have very little of it. So yeah, I pivoted right then, quit my job, and started temping at Fox Music, where and I had a music background. So I'm like, this is where I want to go. Did a lot of research, found out where the business was of music, and that was in supervision. And at the time, fees were much higher. Supervisors were getting paid much more. It was a way different landscape than it is now. And then so I started working my way. I wanted to become a music supervisor. So I worked at Island Def Jam for Spring Aspers. Spring Aspers is now the head of film for Sony Pictures, head of film music. So she went on to great things, and she was music supervising there as well as heading up the soundtrack portion of the label. So I got to wear both hats. It was very interesting to see what it was like to pitch and what it was like to be a supervisor using the world of music. Then I went on to Walt Disney Studios, was there for 5 years, and working on a ton of different films, and hit a glass ceiling. And I realized then that I also didn't really like the process of working with filmmakers. Here I am again working with filmmakers from a different side. Now I'm on the music side, but they don't, everyone thinks they know two things in life. Whatever their profession is, if they're a doctor, lawyer, whatever, then they also think they know music. So everyone has an opinion on music. They all think they're an expert, right? Oh, that should be this song. Like, what do you know? But listen to us, the professionals, the people that work on soundtracks for a living. So I just had a hard time with that. And I'm like, you know what? I think I just want to be on the sales side. So I went to the sales side because I saw how people were pitching to me, how I was as a buyer, how the salespeople would interact with me. And I was like, I think I can do this better because not only do I have empathy as someone who's a supervisor, been in the editing bays, edited songs to picture for the studios, everything, just really just learned a lot. And like I have a special insight here, so I switched over to sales, and I love it. And I love working with hand in hand with artists, helping you guys develop that perfect song that can land that perfect campaign and change your life. And I make money in the meantime as well, which is nice. So I'm here to answer any and all questions. Remember this, it's just my opinion. Everyone has an opinion on music. So if I hear something, I go, you know what, that doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me, but it might work for someone else.
Mhm.
Now, I personally believe my opinion is better than most because I have a result, and my result has is a proven result, a proven brand, and practice makes perfect, and practicing every day, refining my hearing, refining my my focus, and using technology along the way to help. There's AI out there, scary couple of letters there, right? But the future isn't as scary as you think if you learn how to use these as tools. It's a tool just like a hammer, just like a toaster. You have to learn how to use it correctly. So yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Okay, so as a tool, what would be one of the main things that you would use, that you're referring to, the
Well,
equipment?
a lot of artists I know that are really affluent and do well use AI for ideas. They don't use it to create songs. They don't use it to oh, here's my finished version I'm putting out in the world. Nothing about it will be AI because there's copyright issues and all that stuff. But if they're looking for an idea, and they can always plug in, we all know about suno.com and all, or .io.com, I'm not sure. But they're one of the leading AI music creators. But and you can use it's amazing what they can do. Scary, it's amazing. Um, and if you say, you know what, I have in writer's block and I really want to write a song like, this band, blah, 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 and you can use it, you know what, that's a great idea. I'm going to start with that type of framework and now I'm going to make it my own. And so that's what really successful seven-figure earners that I know are doing. Um, if they need an idea. It's not always using AI, but you can use AI to inspire. Don't use it to create, use it to inspire. There's a lot of lawsuits going on right now. There's a lot of things that need to be figured out. But so yeah, so I wouldn't have any finished result be a result of AI at this point.
Right. I could see how people might feel, tempted to, use it in more of a creative way, but I feel as well as you, Brian, that it's not like AI is not necessarily the bad guy or the bad instrument, but
Yeah.
it's a technology that is not going away. It's only going to get better
It's
and better.
not going to go away. You can pretend it doesn't exist. You can fight against it. It's futile. Embrace it. Embrace it because your competitor will.
Right. And I think that like you go on sometimes do a little search for, you know, when you're looking for lyrics or you're finding, rhyming or synonyms or, you're just coming up with what's that one word I'm looking for. I suppose you can use AI the same way. I haven't yet, um, but I'm interested about that. Like maybe is a quick reference tool.
Yeah. I mean, so a band, one of my artists was coming up with a moniker for a side project he's doing, and he was kept spitting out ideas to me. I'm like, "Are you using ChatGPT right now?" Because he laughed. He's like, "Yes, I am." And we came up with a cool one. I mean, he was looking for like a total like jock rock band, and we ended up on Thunder Riot. I was like, "That's cool, dude. I like that." Like, it tells you exactly what that band's about. Like, that's definitely not classical music, and he used AI to get there. And there was a lot of bad ideas along the way, but such is life.
Such as life, right? Okay, so how does Mutiny Records work for like what
Uni recordings, sorry, it's a little more
recordings?
difficult. We're tunnel vision here. We care about one thing and one thing only, and that's landing licenses. I don't do distribution, I don't do collection on back end, I don't do admin or anything like that. There's companies that I work with that I can white label their services, do that kind of stuff, and let them do what they're good at. I do what I'm good at, and that is listen to music and try to find the appropriate place for it in the world of visual media. There's three people over on our team here. I come from the film TV world. That's what I did supervision in. That's where my independent credits come from, leaving after I left Disney. So that's where I get it more. I understand the long form storytell better than I do the short form one, which is ads.
Mhm.
Not to say I don't get ads, because I do land a bunch of them and I'm good at them. But there's another Ryan on my team, Ryan Fitch, who is our ad guy. And why is he our ad guy? Because he spent over 10 years as a music supervisor at Saatchi & Saatchi in New York, being an ad guy. So he knows that world very, very, very well. And he still actually does supervision projects in the ad world constantly. So we have our fingers in all these different forms of media. We like anything that requires the sync, we do, from visual down to podcast, which is obviously just auditory. Now, it, there's songs that can go out there and spin a billion times on Spotify, but they might not be right for sync. I don't
Right.
want that song. I want the song that works to help tell the story, whatever that story might be. If it's a 5-second ad, a 1 minute ad, a 3 minute long play on end montage, end title on a TV show, whatever it might be, an opening title, a jingle. We did a jingle for Paze, Paze. It's a new pay thing. You see your bank rolling out. We did that jingle. Um, Goes like Paze. No, it's like very very short thing. It's a very weird thing to work on a jingle, but it's it's work, right? And the artist was happy because now they have a jingle. Um, so yeah, so we're laser focused on just licensing and what works
Okay.
for that.
So then this is going to segue into a good question. So some people write for sync licensing, and some people are artists, or they take their artist work and try to make it for licensing. So in your history, in your opinion, all these years you've been working with artists, what do you see that is working for you guys? Like, do you prefer people writing for licensing, or do you like how is your approach? Because I've heard from different people.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. If it's noticeable that you're voting for licensing, then you failed.
Right.
Simple. Um, you know, the ad world has turned into advanced form of jingles. It really is. I have a couple of artists that just absolutely crush in the ad world. They have constantly. I've seen back-to-back ads air, and I'm like, wow, that's them, and that's them. Like that's how many ads they have going. And I have probably like 3 or 4 groups of people that are doing this that frequently. They are masters at writing a song that is cool but has those lyrical hooks that work for ads. I mean, you have to remain broad and you have to remain cool. You can't just say like I'm walking on sunshine. You can't do that anymore. You have to find a cool way, like walking on the sun is a way that one of my artists do this. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. I'm not walking on sunshine, I'm walking on the sun. And the way they did it was like soul vibey, like big horns and all that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, that makes sense. Like you guys pulled off writing I'm walking on sunshine in a cool way that
Yeah.
a brand would actually want. Um, Lovely day, happy day. Find creative ways of saying this that aren't so on the nose, that are more unique. You can be broad and unique at the same time. Um, and that's where like we can go through some of the ads that we've landed. I have my website here, and on my website, I encourage you all to go to www.mutinyrecordings.com. We only put up the only examples of our work we put up is on the placements, and it's only for ads, promos, anything marketing. I don't put up my film and TV stuff. There's just too much of it, and honestly, it would get really drawn out and boring. These ads are quick. Some of them are long form. We did a Google Pixel one where it is like a long form 2.5 minute spot because they're showing how to work the whole phone and all that kind of stuff, and that required a different additional composing and demo feeds, and all this is a headache. It's so much easier when they just want to license the track and be like, great, this is all we want, here's the contract, done. Okay. But yeah, when the artists go back, open up their session, work with stems, work with the visual, it just gets a little hard and stressful. But yeah, we have plenty of things that we've landed, and you'll see that there's it could be non-lyrical, it could be lyrical. Now, what I suggest, should you go out there and create a bunch of instrumentals only? I don't think so. And the reason is because that will fall into the world of libraries. When someone comes to us, we are not a library. We're a catalog of music, and people will pay us differently than they will a library. Plus, I think libraries would be absolutely the first to be wiped out by AI. So
Right.
caution. Um, but when I have a song and go, okay, here's the instrumental to a full mix, it's automatically cooler.
Mhm.
Just something to keep in mind. Not to say I don't have instrumentals only that I land often, but the fact is a supervisor will come to us because they know we have real music with real artists. And if we're pitching them instrumentals only because that's what they asked for, they're going to assume that it's of a higher caliber because of the company that we are.
Right.
Um, and so, yeah, a lot of the stuff we land is either instrumental only, instrumentals of a full mix, or the full mix. But I'd say mostly it's lyrical content out there that people are looking for. Even if it's just like this Google Pixel one that I landed, the original brief called for an instrumental only.
Yeah.
And so great. I pitched this instrumental. It was kind of reminding me of that 21 Savages Red Rum thing. So I'm like, ooh, I got one like that. Bam, here's this instrumental right to the top of the list. That's what they're working with. Stayed on it for about 2 months. It was a long process. But they'd like, you know what? We actually want the hook. Because the hook was, this is the view from the top. Now that's always an awesome one. That's just a great hook. And it just worked. It was a hip hop driven track with some soul funk in it, and it was mostly instrumental. They did some additional composition on their side. They brought in their own people to make it work, and it turned out really well. But that was an example of, okay, we want instrumental only. Okay, I want to hear the full mix too. Bam, here it is. Okay, yeah, we're gonna grab some lyrics from that too. Now, which is great for the artist because now he got SAG. And SAG is a whole different payment structure, and they make good money on that. So good on him.
Yeah, so I've heard this before too, like the lyrics or the song, sells, like having the lyrics in the song sells the whole song. So a lot of supervisors just use the instrumental, but they're not interested in just listening to the instrumental. So probably because of what you just said, the hook aspect. And also too, when you're listening to a song, you can tell when you're just listening to the instrumental that it is part of a song because there
Yeah.
are spots in it, right? That are
Well,
obviously
yeah, that's a really good term you use, spots. And another word we use for that is chapters. And you like the best songwriters understand that they are working not for the rep, not for the music supervisor, but for the editor. The
right,
editor needs to be able to cut in really, really cool spots. If there's drops, what a drop is, it slows down, then boom, and it hits really hard. It's like, cool, yeah, the music stopped and started again. Stops and starts are really good for editing. Um, Big instrumental changes, crescendos, big things that happen allow the editor to go, okay, here's where I can play with the song. If everything's too even keel, where's the beat? So keep that in mind, right, for the editor. And when you're bouncing out your tracks, yes, always bounce out the full mix, bounce out the instrumental. If there are non-lyrical vocals in your song, oohs, ahs, hand claps are, I know it's not vocal, but you know what I mean. Anything else that might stand out to give the instrumental a bit more flavor, bounce that out as well. We call that a TV mix. It's very important. We've landed so many of our tracks that are like, oh, I just want the background oohs and ahs because it just adds a whole thing. And intensity. Some ads will say we don't want no vocals because they don't want to pay the union fees
Oh,
associated with the vocals. And some will be like, oh, we need a waiver. We need your artist to sign a waiver. It starts to get really shady and like how these companies duck these things. And like, wait, you're a SAG signatory. How are you avoiding SAG? Oh, we're using a third party, licensing company that is actually the entity, and they're technically producing it, and blah blah blah, so we can avoid our SAG fees. It's head shaking, but you know what? Such is the way of the world, and the fact that there will never be a union for what we do, someone will always say, "Yeah, I'll approve." And that's like, it's hard to hold the line and go, no, 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 not unless you do the SAG fees. Sorry, we'll go off to the next person because they'll say yes. Done. So,
yeah, I'm looking at your website. It looks very clean, very, very clear. What
thank you.
I love about that, it's very clear, and I love how you highlight the artists as well, and your, of course, who your clients are. And so it's just very, all one page, just really great overall.
Thank you. Yeah, this is a redesign we did at the I think the top of the year or the end of last year. And yeah, I mean, I had a lot more complicated things on my last website, but here's the nuts and bolts. This is all you need. This is what you need to know. And I mean, honestly, like if I didn't put any of my artists on there, it'd be fine too. Because there's only two people coming to my website, and that is you guys out there, just like, oh, I need representation. Let me go to a website. And ad companies, when they want to make sure that you are a legit entity, like that's part of the vendor forms. What's your website? We need to verify that you're a company out there doing it, and that way I can also send, if I'm trying to get new business and get someone to pay attention to me, I can send them like, hey, here's my website, here's the placements page with a lot of our most recent ad work. Then go in and see all the big brands and go, oh, okay, you guys are legit. You're not just another entity that popped up that thinks they know music for what we do. And there's just so many of that. There's no bar exam, there's no anything to pass in order to become what we do. Anyone can wake up any day and just start doing this, and because of that you get a lot of people that just do not know what they're doing, and don't know what samples are, don't know this and that, and it's just it becomes very cloistered. The supervisors want to work with their nice knit tight knit group of people, so it's really hard to break through. Even for someone who has a lot of experience, who's been in the game for a while, getting attention of a new person is tough. Because I can tell you from when I was a supervisor, dude, I got the 15, 20 people I reach out to. I don't need any more. Like I get everything checked from these boxes, and so to get someone to pay attention is tough.
It
It's tough.
is, it is, and you might have somebody out there super talented, but it's going to be hard to find them, right? Because there's so much out
There's
there.
so much content.
So
That's
speaking
something
of
that
there's been a few questions in the chat. One of them
great.
is,
Oh, sorry.
do you ever hire composers for custom work? Is one question by Patrick Cook.
Okay, yes, custom work, also known as bespoke music. We do that often. The Pays mnemonic, they had to hire it because it was a work for hire. They took the master, the publishing, and the writer's portion. They own 100% of it. Actually, they forgot to negotiate the writer's portion, so we're actually negotiating that with them right now. Like, whoa, actually, we want all of it. It's like, well, it wasn't our deal, so we gave you a discount on the whole project. It's gonna be a lot more if you want the entire writer's portion. So, but yes, we do, like there will be times where an ad company, for instance, will want something created for their brand, and like, oh, we need, like right now we're working on a cover of, yeah, what it was. It wasn't Thin Lizzy, but they're working on like someone wants a original cover, and done a special way. So we have a few different artists that opted in to try this. It's on spec, meaning they do not get paid a demo fee, which is a turnoff for a lot of people, and I don't blame them. Especially when you have a lot of success. If I'm going to do this, give me a couple grand, to waste my time. And if the company knows who you are, they'll be like, yeah, actually, we want that. We want your expertise on this. So here's a couple grand. So it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. We probably do 10 to 15 custom projects a year, I'd
Oh,
say.
nice. It looks like you already have your artists that you like that are appearing on the page. Are these also artists that have written for TV and movies?
On my website page, is that what?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Combo.
they you know, some of these artists are true artists. They put out albums, send it to me, and be like, "Hey, dude, let's see what you can do." And I only signed them because I found their music cinematic to begin with. You know, that's the big thing. Does it work or does it not? I'm sorry, I like your music, but I don't think it'll work for what I do. I'm not going to sign you. Not going to waste our time. I don't need the pressure. You know, if you hit me up every day, like, "Oh, what's going on?" Nothing. Don't need that. So yeah, a lot of these artists, I tell them, you know, when they're writing to keep film and TV in mind. You know, like if you're gonna say a lyric that's very specific, because you have to write what's in your heart and soul. You got to be true to yourself. Does that mean you can't do an alt version? You know, if you have something that you're talking about that's so specific, and you want to make that your artist track that you release out there into the ether, and hopefully, you know, get that fan base. But if you can go, you know what, I can broaden that a little bit and just change that lyric and have this work for just a licensing version of the song. I have a band that they had a song that was really, really cool, like vibey and everything like that. And the hook was cruel. Like they're playing the juxtaposition. They're trying to be like ironic. But they knew better and they also recorded cool. So they gave me the cool version. They also gave me the cruel version in case I was working on for something that was like wanted the irony of a scene. But now I got something that actually works, and the hook matches the vibe of the song now, rather than playing the you know, counterpoint. So I think that's important to keep in mind. Be true to yourself. Write what you want to write that your heart and soul is telling you to do. But if you want to monetize, keep in mind there is a product for you and your fan base, and there's a product for the marketplace. You know, when it comes to sync, and they might be two different things, or they might not.
So, because you've worked in so many different levels of artistry with with music, so as an artist, so we have artists in this right now with us that are just artists, you know, that have never really done much for licensing that are interested, and then we
Mhm.
have in our group right now today, there's some that write for, you know, that do really well and are very, very good at writing for licensing. So how would
Great.
you, what would you say to all of us in this group today, how to go about like, you know, getting hooked up with someone like Mutiny Records, like with you, or just in general, good advice to pursue this in the best way, since and coming from your state of being, because we, you know, there's always different advice you get from different people, and I think you have a pretty good, like, you know, pulse on everything, it sounds like.
Thank you. I'd hope so. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
doing this
well,
for like, you
came
know.
on strong, and I, you know, I think we're all convinced already.
All right, thank you. You know, I think the best way, there's a lot of artists trying to do things their own ways right now and meet supervisors directly and all that stuff. And you can go to those conferences, you can meet those people. There's certain supervisors that love to deal directly with the artists and go around the companies, and that's fine. You know, a lot of supervisors are also playing both sides of the coin, saying, "Hey, signing my catalog, and I'll, you know, take your publishing, and but I'll get you placed in my stuff." You know, it's kind of a little dirty on that thing, I believe. But the best thing I think is to find people that do this all day, every day, like myself. You know, just finding licensing companies to represent your music, because I can't do what you guys do. I can't go there in the studio, write a song, produce it. You definitely don't want to hear me sing it. But you know, like I'm terrible on my guitars. They're better at collecting dust than anything at these points. But you know, I can't do that. I can do this. And you might not be able to do this, but you can do that. So hand over the reins to people that you believe in, that believe in you. And a lot of people are doing non-exclusive deals these days. There's a lot of opinions about those, but it seems to be the way of the world. And I'd rather attract flies with honey, so I'm definitely open to that. Uh, and that way you can diversify a little bit. You know, it's really good, like if you have, especially if you have a couple different monikers, like and you're very affluent, you can put one thing with one company, one thing with another, or if you have someone that's crushing for you, stick with one company and just have everything under one roof. If it's not broke, don't fix it, for sure. um Understand there's ebbs and flows. I've had artists that used to crush, like, oh my God, their stuff is getting licensed every week. Like they're just doing so fantastic. Sound changes a little bit. Got away from that sound a little bit. Now it's been like, you know, especially in today's climate, it's been over a year since they've gotten a license. And I tell them like, listen, dude, here's a pitch report. You know, I have Disco. I'm not sure if you guys know that, but like, it's very easy to print those off and say, here's every place you've been pitched. You're being pitched. Don't let that depress you that you're not landing these things. There's just ebbs and flows, but you know, you do what you got to do. If you need to go take your catalog somewhere else, I understand and respect that. This is your business, this is your economy. You have to take charge of it. But I do believe it is best for artists to go with professional licensing agencies like ours, because not only do we know all the people and they should know us and rely on us, but also we have you covered with all the legalities and the insurances and all these types of things. Like I pay thousands and thousands of dollars in insurance every year. You know, probably $23,000 in insurance last year for 2024 between E&O, general liability, all that kind of stuff that these companies need. That's a lot for an artist to take on.
Yeah.
Um, and not only that, but understanding licensing to like what is going into that licensing template that you may not know to look for. Is this being used in context, out of context? What's the difference? Did they include that? Why did they include that? All these different things that you have to be aware of that you wouldn't know unless you knew. And I personally, if I was a musician, I would love to just embrace doing that kind of thing and let someone else handle the business while staying on top of the business, but letting someone else do the day to day. So there's plenty of guides to finding lists of companies like mine. I think it's important when reaching out to companies to differentiate yourself. You know something about the company. You know, flattery will always open doors up. You're like, oh, I love the work you did on this, blah, blah, blah. You know, you go to my placements page, you see the Google thing. Oh, love that Google thing. It's really cool, blah, 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 blah. Cool. Now you got my attention. You know, it's just human nature. And we'll listen to everything and we'll get back to the people that we feel we can work with. And takes a while, like our A&R sometimes backed up 6 to 8 months, but you know it's we got a lot of submissions. But remain consistent, be polite, be understand that people in my position, we're just going through things every single day, pulling our hair out, trying to figure out the world like you are. And yeah, consistency, manners, and at the end of the day, it comes down to your songs.
Okay. So, question about, there's a few in the chat right now. I, somebody's asking about SAG-AFTRA. Can you talk more about SAG-AFTRA? Is that something that we all should be registering with, similar to how we register with BMI or ASCAP, is a question.
Not necessarily. I mean, like if you're getting placements in film and television, you're not going to have to deal with SAG or anything like that. There's ad companies that are SAG signatories, and if they do an ad, they're supposed to pay out an additional. So say let's work with easy numbers, $100,000 licensing fee for a big 1 year Nike campaign, whatever. They don't pay that much, by the way. They're very cheap. And great. So we have this in there. Oh, there's SAG as well. So my vocals are on that. So I'm going to get a separate check from SAG that is just on top of that for my vocal performance. Doesn't come to me as a licensing company. It goes straight to the artist, to the person, and it's a beautiful thing. And and you can, if you get enough of these things, you can get all the benefits of SAG. You can get the insurance and everything like that. And I have a couple of artists who are like, oh man, we're panicking because we're about to lose our insurance. I need to get one more SAG gig. And so I don't know if they ever accomplish that, but there's a stress along with that as well. But it's not something you have to face until you're faced with it. So it's nothing that you need to pre-register for or anything like that. So don't worry about that.
That's good advice, and I think I've heard that too. So, okay, let me go back to what you brought up a second ago, about how, some of this artist that was a sound like a year ago, and they're not quite hitting it now. Maybe I wouldn't call it dated, because you never know, it could be used for something else. So how would you describe that? Like, can you describe in a very simple way what that sound might have been like that you're
Totally.
referring to, and then what you're hearing now that would be different?
Gotcha. Okay, so the sound of this particular band I'm thinking of is very much like Kings of Leon, and so there was 5 years ago, or more than 5 years, 5, 7 years ago. that sound was the sound. Like I lost out on several big campaigns with this band to Kings of Leon. So like, damn it. But hey, if they're gonna be beat by someone, that's not bad. The Now it's still very irrelevant of a sound because but it's great for film and TV. What don't we have a lot of right now? Film and TV. And that's the tough thing is because like he used to land ads here and there, like car commercials and stuff like that, when they were going for that big Americana, big like Kings of Leon sound. Um, but they're not doing that anymore. So I feel like most ads these days are looking for that pop swagger female hip hop thing. It's just very much in so many ads, and we have a ton of it. Um,
So like give me not to give away some of your artists, but give me somebody who's well known that you're referring to there.
like a Charlie XCS sound, a kind of pop, I know that's not rap, but like just any of that with that has that swagger vibey thing. Like you can watch Royal Caribbean ads. I mean, those are very much like touching upon that exact thing. Now, it doesn't mean all ads are looking for that. It doesn't mean like, oh gosh, that's the sound I need to go embrace. No, it doesn't. Luckily, you have everything at your fingertips. All you have to do is watch TV. Watch things and listen. Listen for what they're doing, Shazam it, figure out, okay, why they use this track. Okay, I'm noticing that there's a lot of this type of song being used. And then if that's your skill set and you can write in that style, then great. Then you know what's being used. But that's what I tell artists all the time. Like the evidence of what you need is right in front of you all the time. Watch contemporary shows, listen to their soundtracks. You go to tunefind.com and look up any show and listen to their entire soundtrack per episode. And that way, if you're like, oh, I really want to get a song on Grey's Anatomy, great, go listen to the last couple of seasons of songs licensed to Grey's Anatomy. Are you in that pocket? That's important to recognize. It's like if you don't know where your music would land, that's a problem. If I say, okay, great, love your song, I listen to your song. Where do you see this being placed? Oh, in a type of scene where blah blah. No, 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 not type of scene. What show? What example that's currently out there and available to you in the marketplace right now do you want to do you think that you can be a part of? I don't know. Okay, well, neither do I. That's a tough thing, isn't it? If you find yourself, okay, I write very much like blues, rock, kind of gritty, cool. Start watching those shows and write a song for one of those scenes. What, like, okay, I'm watching Mayor of Kingstown and like, oh, dude, that's a great song. I could totally write a song like that. Mute it, write that song, play it over it. Does it work in the montage? Great. Guess what? Your song is cinematic, will work for other things as well. And so that's a wonderful thing to do. Use what's in front of you.
Is what's in front of you. And just reminding you all in case you're feeling like, oh my God, this is so many good nuggets and stuff. We're gonna have this on replay later, so don't you fret. You can always go back and watch this. And so Ryan,
Yes.
exclusive or non-exclusive?
I'll take either. I have a menu that I offer up to artists when they want to sign. I go here for this, that, and the other. Depends on what you want. Now, like I really believe in the entrepreneurial spirit and that people should carve out their own path for themselves and think what's best. Um, I can tell you there's less marketplace confusion with exclusive contracts. You will be pushed more when there's an opportunity to put to oh, we can only send in 5 tracks, and like we have 6, and they're all the same in terms of their caliber. We'll drop out the stuff that's non-exclusive. We'll focus on our exclusive artists because they made a sacrifice for us. We're gonna, focus on them. So just keep that in mind. Like I won't do newsletters including songs from artists that, or I won't do it often, that are non-exclusive. I'll only do newsletters and stuff that for people that are loyal to my brand and my brand only. Don't have their stuff in like 10 other spots. We do ask that when if we are signing someone non-exclusively, that we understand who else has their music, so we don't have egg on our face. It's nice to know what's going on out there. It just seems like the way of the world has changed over the last 5 years, and that most artists want to be non-exclusive these days and have their fingers in multiple pots.
I've
And
heard I've heard both, and I think with a company and a group like you, I would say, hey, go exclusive. What do you have to
that's
lose?
what I would say.
You
Yeah.
could always make more music, and maybe do 5 really good songs that are specifically for
Yeah, exactly. Under a moniker, just like this is my
Yeah,
project, giving it to Mutiny. Done. You
right,
know?
exactly. Give it to Mutiny. Where'd you come up with the name Mutiny Recordings?
Interesting. So I had another company before this, and I had a business partner, and it was not easy. I was doing most of everything, and they were taking half my money, so that didn't feel that well. So I broke up the company, which is in itself a mutiny. At the same time, my wife's grandfather passed away, and he owned the Mutiny Hotel in Florida, which was they just had a show come out called Hotel Cocaine. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of that show. I think it's airing on MGM Plus. It's all about that. It's what Scarface was based on. It's just a lot of cool stuff about the Mutiny Hotel. So it was also an homage to him since he had just passed away. Um, and then Mutiny sounds like rock and roll, anyways. It's
So you have like Godfather heritage here.
kind of more Tony Montana heritage. But
All right,
that's
that's cool. That's
yeah.
cool. I got I
The
can't
hotel's still there, by the way, in Coconut Grove. If anyone goes there, it's the
I
Mutiny
think
Hotel,
I
and
think you
it's
should add swagger to your website bio or to
should.
Mutiny.
Thanks.
Um, well, there's more questions in the chat, and because we're getting at 11:44, and I want to save a couple of minutes in the end to talk about a couple of things. Why don't we, instead of me asking you, Ryan, does anybody want to raise their hand and ask personally? Brad, let's unmute you.
There you
Okay.
go. Hey, Ryan, how are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise, likewise. I just typed here in the chat. I love your website, by the way, and I definitely love the tab "Join the Mutiny." That
Thank
is
you.
very attractive.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Do
Need to
you
make
have a
flags.
preference?
I need to have a flag hanging outside my house.
No, it's great. It's very inviting. But do you have a I wrote here in the chat. Do you have a preference for pitching artists with big Spotify media presence or new artists that don't, or
It
does it
always
even
helps.
matter for Mutiny?
Like a rising tide lifts all ships, right? And so, like, if you have great Spotify numbers, we can therefore justify a higher licensing fee. I've had like, okay, if I've had several times you get briefs that are like, oh, okay, put this into tiered buckets, 3 to 5K, 7 to 10K, 12 to 15K. Like if you have 100,000 monthly listeners, I can justify putting you in a higher tier. If you have 6 monthly listeners, I cannot. Unless you're signed to a major publisher and I'm only pitching the master or something like that. So it really comes down to just like value of any product. If there's demand for it, it's going to be worth more. And that's what socials and all the impressions you make and the numbers you gather will lend to proving marketplace value.
So
Awesome.
so you would base the artist that you're pitching to that show or that agency who wants to find that music based on the fees you're going to get from the person looking for the music. Like if you're getting 10 grand for the cut, you're going to use these amount of artists that might have a bigger Spotify. But if you're getting something for 2 grand, let's look at some of the new artists. So
Exactly. It works
yeah,
like that. Also consider the rights, and if everything's one stop, everything like I control the rights on everything, and then yeah, I definitely go off the numbers and the amount of placements this artist has had. Sometimes I'll get ad briefs where it goes, something recognizable or emerging artist, someone with buzz. We want someone with buzz, and if like you have, like I said, 25 monthly listeners, I'm not gonna be able to say you have buzz. But if you have a few 100,000 monthly listeners, oh my gosh, do you have buzz? If you have a couple million monthly listeners, yeah, dude, this is a total like legit band out there doing it. Like, so yeah.
fantastic. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Brad. Um, yeah, so I think that it's exciting to know that you take such good care with how you work with your artists. And I think that maybe, you know, I've heard that before, like it helps to push your social media presence if you're an artist, or it helps to push your, to just be out there as an artist. If you're a sync writer, you just like Ryan said, maybe whoever is the main artist singing, maybe that person also does the same thing, if that's how you're working it out with the song. So that's really great. I love.
It only helps. And not to say that you can't land big placements with songs that are, or artists that are unknown, or songs that have no traction. Like we pitch a ton of unreleased stuff all the time, and we'll release it at the same time as the ad to get a cross marketing kind of play. Um, at the end of the day, it comes down to the song. All these other things are bells and whistles. We have a visual. Does the song work? Does it enhance the emotional arc of the visual? Does it give us what we want as an audience? Does it give them the feels? That's all they care about at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if the artist is Led Zeppelin or if it's one of you. It's just like if you do it best for the scene, that's all they care about. So there's the secret.
Do you manage that release strategy? That's a great idea. Do you manage that release strategy, or does the artist say, "Hey, no, I want to release my songs"? And you know, do it this way.
Well, sometimes, I talk to artists. I'm like, listen, you got to release, because there's algorithms that Spotify and everything use. And one of my artists was telling me, like, yeah, if I release a track every 6 weeks, I'll blah 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 boom. This is how it works. So she releases a track every 6 weeks. Um, it makes the song old. Once, oh, I want something brand new. I'm sorry, this was released 2 years ago, but it has no significant placements. But oh well. So that's something that you're going to be up against. But on the other hand, if you need a fan base, you need to release music. They need to hear your stuff. And but yeah, honestly, like if you have a big spot coming out, if it's like, okay, your background bar on a TV show, we don't have to worry about releasing it, at the same time as the show, because no one's gonna be like, oh, what is that thing I'm hearing like under the dollar? No, they're not gonna do that. But if you're gonna add or something very, very upfront, a big montage sequence, a big end title, a big, whatever it might be, then yeah, like it's in your interest. I've had artists like thank me and go like, dude, like after that placement, I released that song and I got like 900,000 spins in like 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, he's like, you've changed my life. Thank you. I'm like, cool. So you never know.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, Brad. So anybody else have a question that they want to ask directly to Ryan?
Stump me.
Hey, Ryan. I appreciate you being here. Great to meet you. So I asked this from a non-artist angle. Having worked personally, I've worked as an executive assistant for a boutique catalog.
Uh-huh.
Have a recommendation from the CEO who managed that company. How would you recommend, or do you have any advice other than regular career advice of knowing how fast-paced y'all's lives are, and getting the attention of another catalog, another supervisor, breaking through the noise of all that? I mean, yeah.
Are you talking about to get a job at a different company?
Yeah, right. To continue building a career with the goal of working in, the work that you do as a music supervisor.
It's hard right now because right now everyone is struggling. Supervisors especially. I mean, I don't know. Like I get Ryan Fitch, the other guy on my team, and I were talking about this the other day. It's like I feel like we're getting the briefs. The only thing people that keep us busy are like three people. There's like the same three companies that are just like having all the briefs right now. There's so many supervisors I surfaced in the before times when before the strike that I haven't heard from. I part of me hopes that, and this is very morbid hope, that there's a contraction of the industry, that the artists do leave, that catalogs close down, that supervisors leave. It needs to get a little bit smaller. It's gotten so overly saturated, so overly big that it's hard. And so like until things come back, and everyone's saying survive till 25. That's like the motto of the industry right now, that like when is it going to start up again? Like it was supposed to start up after Labor Day. Okay, well that didn't really happen. Okay, well what about the new year? So everyone thinks it's going to be then. It's going to be different though. I read the trades today and it's everyone's been tightening their belt. All the networks, all the studios. Look at what's happened to Paramount. TV's been closed down. Paramount's cut drastic amount of their staff. Lionsgate's tightening their belt. You have Atlantic Records just shaved off a lot of people. Disney's shaving off people. ABC, they got rid of ABC Signature. I mean, there's like the industry's trying to figure out what the hell it's doing right now. and where the money's at, because they all produce so much content in the streaming battle that there's just so much out there right now. And they're like, okay, now let's pull back a little bit. Let's tighten our belts. Let's lay off a significant amount of staff. I mean, I know people that have been at CBS for 25 plus years that were laid off recently. And it's like, oh my God, what do you do then? So those people are out there trying to find jobs as well. And until there's actually business happening again, it's going to be next to impossible. I hired someone about a year ago thinking that, okay, it'll be like 2 or 3 months. And then when January 2024 hits, it's going to be busy again. Well, here we are. And it's still not that busy again. And the guy's still on board. He's valuable, but like, and he just thanked me yesterday for keeping him on board. I'm like, dude, you're not going anywhere. It's going to come back and you're ready. So I would say you have to wait, sadly. I mean, you can always just network, hit up people on LinkedIn, invite them out for a cup of coffee or pay for their lunch, just can I come in, meet you, bring you coffee, whatever. And get to know people. Just make friends at this point, because those are the people who can be like, dude, so-and-so is hiring. And great, then slip your resume in and that's how it's done. I mean, it's very rarely you get jobs just like, oh, random person that applied to me. It's always a referral in this business. So, but right now there's just no work. I mean, there's people leaving the industry. It'd be really hard to find a job. So I apologize, but not much you can do right now. Give it a few months.
I have a
Appreciate the
question.
feedback.
I have a question for Bubba and for people, even for artists. Do you recommend at this point in this in between, keep making music, of course, but for Bubba specifically, thinking outside the box, maybe like college film, documentaries or things like that that you might have access to, that you can pursue, that might not have a big budget, but at least you can start getting your name out there. You could just thinking in another way, because right now everyone's competing in the industry standard. Do you have any kind of recommendations on that level,
I
Ryan?
mean, it's really tough. I mean, it depends on how you network yourself, and if you can get into these, these indie filmmakers, going to film schools, offering up like, hey, listen, I'll give you a gratis license for my music just to get your credits out there, or like if you want to be a music supervisor, like, hey, dude, I'll jump on board and music supervise your project for free. I just want credits, like there's always like we're in Hollywood here. I mean, like not everyone is, but there's always someone making a project. That's just the standard thing in life, and they don't know the music world. When I was leaving film production development and going into music, I was asking the producers I was working for, notable producers that have done tons of films that you all know, like, hey, dude, like, who can I talk to? Do you know anyone that I can like? And I'm like, I really don't know. There's a music supervisor worked on that one project, but I don't really talk to them anymore. It's like they just don't know the world of music, and that's why music always comes last. They always steal the budget from us. It's very very frustrating. And that's one of my fears for the new year is that with their all the studios networks are gonna have to pay the writers more. So does that mean where are they gonna get the money from? Are they making less productions and keep all the other below the line items the same, or are they gonna be saying, you know what, we'll cut visual effects, cut music, cut this, cut that, because we gotta pay the writers.
Right. And then
Remains to be seen.
yeah, wait until the very last minute for the music, and then suddenly everyone wants the music right then and there, right?
Exactly. Yeah. They want it yesterday. What are you talking about?
Right. Oh my gosh, so crazy.
Yeah.
So you brought up earlier about, like these conferences. Do you ever go in person, like Durango or,
I haven't been to Durango, but I did Taxi the last couple of years. I'm not doing it this year. And I mean, I do conferences once in a while.
yeah.
Um, and there's a lot of great people that do. And like I said, like just my opinion right now, you're gonna get someone that completely contradicts me. And if you vibe with that advice more, great, go for it. There's no one path
Right.
towards anything in this business. My path to get to where I'm at today is different from every other single person out there that did it, in their past, different from everyone else. It's just, there is no like, oh, go to school, get this degree, and now you're going to get into the music industry. No, it doesn't work that way for this. So, I mean, exploring, yeah, I would definitely recommend going to these conferences, getting these things. There's tons of things online, tons of Zoom things like this, and just gathering information. And the most important thing is what you do with that information afterwards. Be humble. Um, if you're going down the wrong path, stop. There's like some advice I got in life is like, look at your week, look at what worked, look what didn't work. the things that didn't work, don't ever do those again. The things that did work, repeat them. It sounds like, oh, that's such basic advice. Obviously, yeah, but it's so obvious. Why don't people do it?
And you need to still show up every day too. You can't
Gotta
just.
show up. 99% of things are showing up, right?
Right. So then, this is like probably the main question would be, are you taking new artists and can they reach you? Or,
Yes, you can go to my website and there's a submission area there for both like artists and for supervisors, and I get hit up by supervisors there as well. Yeah, we're definitely very, very picky right now because we have a lot of content. Um and we don't like to sign too much competitive product. So if you're a singer songwriter like Iron and Wine, and I have a band like that, I'm not gonna want another one because it's not fair to them, it's not fair to you, and it's just, I don't need a ton of that. Um so yeah, I mean, we're always submitting. Like, we only get back to people if we want, if we are interested. So, but and you can feel free to follow up if you want, and you can say that you met me on this, and I'll give you extra special attention. Um, but yeah, like we're like, don't be offended. We're signing what we think we can be valuable with, what we think we can do as a vehicle for your music. And I'm not great at every genre. There's genres that will come to me. I go, dude, this is fantastic, but no one comes to me for this. No one thinks about me for this. I don't even know what I would do with it.
right.
So that's my honesty, helping you out, and then you gotta listen.
Yay. So it sounds like you are going to do the Ask Me Anything for a couple of days with our Facebook group. So you guys can always ask questions to Ryan there as well. And I want to also just call out to Indy and they're also going with Sync Society. They are John and Sonnet, and the reason why I'm bringing them up is they are one of our partners, and they've thrown a syncathon for us, a fundraiser, and they also have something called Get Repped, and that usually they have an agency, different agencies you can refer to. I don't know if you're part of that, the Get Repped.
I've done that a few times.
I
Yeah,
thought so. I thought so. I just wanted to make
I
sure.
know Sonnet really well. I've known her for a long time.
Yeah, we love Sonnet, right? And so I just wanted to call them out, and they are fabulous if you want one-on-one coaching and all of that. So check them out. And next week we have where is it? We have Wednesday, the 16th of October at 11 a.m. Sync Strategies: How to Maximize Your Revenues with Silverside Productions, SSP.
Silverside's great. I know Mike Locke very well. Um, you'll learn a lot from him. He's a good peer.
And yay! And thank you, Ryan, for being with us today. You're
Thank
such a
you.
joy and a gem to talk to. So easy. And yeah, everyone check out the website if you haven't already, which is amazing, Mutiny Recordings. And and I put it in the chat. And thank you, Ryan. You have
My
all
pleasure.
this beautiful day, and sending you so much hugs and loves.
Thank you. Good luck, everyone.
Bye bye.